Hi children, today we are going to do reflexive or emphatic pronoun. Let's see what is a reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronouns reflect back to the subject of a sentence. It reflects back. A reflexive pronoun refers to a noun or another pronoun and indicates that the same person or thing is involved. Reflexive pronouns are formed by adding self or selves to certain personal and possessive pronouns. For example, the woman found herself a book of folk tales. Here, who is the subject? What is the subject here? Who is doing the action over here? The woman. What is the action or the verb in the sentence? Found. And what is the object in the sentence? Here, the word herself is actually functioning as the reflexive pronoun. And if you check, the person doing the action is also receiving the action. Such pronouns which show that the action done by the subject affects the subject itself. It affects the woman is herself. The action is affected by the subject itself. Like this type of pronouns are known as reflexive pronouns. The examples are myself, yourself, herself, himself and themselves. These are some of the examples of reflexive pronouns. Now let's see the next type of pronoun, that is emphatic pronoun. An emphatic pronoun is a pronoun that adds emphasis to a noun or pronoun already named. That means an emphatic pronoun used to emphasize the work done by the subject. So such pronouns which use the same words as reflexive pronouns. So when we look into the reflexive and emphatic pronoun, both will look same because both are ending with self or selves. Self in singular and selves in plural. So both pronouns will be looking same, but what's the difference? The emphatic pronouns used to emphasize the person who is doing the work, right? It is emphasize the work done by the subject. So same words are used over here, but are used to emphasize or stress the action of the subject are called pronouns. So emphatic pronouns. Even if we remove emphatic pronoun from the sentence, it makes a sense. So here the example is George himself bought a copy of American Tall Tales. Here George himself. So we can see the word himself giving more stress or giving more emphasis on the word, on the noun George. Talking about it's giving more emphasis on the noun George. Next one, he himself paid for the book. Here the word he himself is talking or giving more emphasis on the word, the pronoun he. The word himself is giving more emphasis on the pronoun he. Here in the first sentence, the word himself is giving more emphasis on the noun George. So the emphatic pronoun is actually emphasizing on to a noun or pronoun already named. Even if we remove the emphatic pronoun from a sentence, it will make a sense. For example, if you remove this word and check whether it is senseful or not, then George bought a copy of American Tall Tales. Yes, the sentence is meaningful. He paid for the book. Yes, it is meaningful. So these are the examples of emphatic pronouns, and reflexive pronoun is the pronouns that reflect back to the subject. The action, the subject is affected by the subject and object. The subject is affected by its own action. Now let's see more about reflexive and emphatic pronouns. A pronoun that ends in self or selves are reflexive and intensive. Intensive pronouns are another name for emphatic pronouns. Myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, yourself, himself, itself, and themselves. Reflexive pronouns refers to the subject and directs the action of the verb back to the subject. Reflexive pronouns are necessary to the meaning of a sentence. For example, the Carlin family tried to lift themselves out of poverty. The Carlin family, yes, and themselves is talking about the Carmel family itself. So this is an example of reflexive pronoun because the subject is reflexing. The word themselves is reflexing the subject itself. Next is emphatic pronoun. An emphatic pronoun enhances the subject, but it is not necessary to the meaning of the sentence. For example, Ben Carson wondered, as he had before, if he himself was smart. If he himself. So giving more emphasizing, but it is not necessary to the meaning of sentence. So this is this himself is the example of emphatic pronoun. Now let's do the exercise number E. Filling the blanks with suitable reflexive or emphatic pronoun. Write R for reflexive or E for emphatic in the brackets. John hurt himself while playing football. Now let's see the John hurt himself. The subject is affected by its own action, right? John and himself. So we can say it is a reflection of the subject. So it's a reflexive pronoun. So we can write in bracket R. Now let's see the second question. I dash collected the package from the post office. I dash. Here what we can use? I myself. I is here. So we have to use the word I myself. And this is the example of emphatic pronoun. So we can write over here E. Babies can't look after dash. So here babies can't look after dash. We have to write a suitable pronoun. It is a baby. It's a babies. Babies means a plural. So we have to use themselves. Babies can't look after themselves. The phone can't be repaired because the battery dash has broken. So here it is talking about the phone, which is an inanimate object, which is not having life. So we have to use the word itself. The phone can't be repaired because the battery itself, talking about the battery itself has broken. So it is emphatic pronoun, the battery itself, giving more emphasis on battery. The door creaked opened by dash. The door creaked open by, again it's a talking about the door, so it is inanimate object, so we have to use itself. So here it is not emphasizing itself. The noun or pronoun is not emphasizing the word itself, but it is reflecting the action of the subject, the door, right? The door creaked open itself. So it is reflexive pronoun. They dash offered to pick us up from the bus stop. They dash. They themselves, right? It is they. So we can use they themselves offer to pick us up from the bus stop. So here again it is emphasizing the subject, so we can they themselves, emphasizing the subject, so we have to use emphatic pronoun. Chinu is a responsible girl. She cleans her room. Dash. So we are talking about the girl Chinu, so we have to use the word Chinu cleans her room herself. So here again it is emphasizing Chinu's action here. She cleans her room herself. So that is emphatic pronoun. The next exercises 8 to 12 you can do it as homework.